Well, greetings gamers. This is Dr. Eileen, the Gaming Doc, and this is your place and your space to laugh, to chat, to chill, to hang out, to take a moment, to take a break, to take a breath, and say it is Friday, and not just any Friday, it is Focus Friday. So that means that we consider where we're focusing, what we're focusing on, and whether or not where we're focusing is really where we need to be or where we need to be going. And as in the Olympics, the first ones across the gate win the gold, the silver, and the bronze. And our gold medalist is Shrek Fork. Yes, Shrek Fork in for the gold. Queen of Mayhem 1 in for the silver. Hey, hey. Well, hey, hey to you too. And it is always so lovely to have my wonderful daughter-in-law in. Yes. And lurking Psyduck in for the bronze. Medalists, just like in the Olympics, take your place on your risers. Wrap yourselves in your national flags as we play your national anthems. Hope you had a great week. Well, it has been a week. It has been a time. It has been a thing. But, you know, no matter what happens, well, there you are. And you can't choose what comes into your life. You can only choose how you decide you want to face it. Hello, just woke up a few minutes ago. Yay! And, change username. P920 is now DR1PP3RRR. Dr. One Per, like Dr. Is it supposed to be like Dr. Pepper or something like that? And we have in the house Cujo Creates. Cujo, yay! And Cujo is adding a hat. First thing, it is, let's see, what hat do we want to add? We will start off with the Twitch hat. And Cujo Creates. It's so wonderful to have you here. Did our conversation yesterday prove fruitful? Yes, it did. And much appreciation, sweetie. It's supposed to be called Dripper. Oh, okay. The 1L-I-3-R as it was taken. Okay, so Dripper. Cool. Hello, how are you? Well, let's just say I am, and that is good enough. So, and how are you, sweetie? I hope you're doing well, and I hope maybe you've got like some streaming coming up or whatever. Hopefully. And what are you doing? What are you up to? What's the buzz? Tell us what's happening. And my beverage for today is, I went and got some watermelon lemon flavored Snapple. Actually, it's very tasty. The idea of watermelon intrigued me. I'm glad to hear it. Mom Onyx said he would have told you the same thing. Oh, thank you, sweetie. I do not plan on streaming anytime soon, but got lots of art projects on the docket. What art are we doing? Is it individual art? Is it group art? Is it what is it? You know, is it painting? Is it sculpture? We want to know. A couple of children's books to illustrate, more t-shirt designs and sticker designs. Ooh, oh my gosh, that must be so cool to illustrate a children's book. Oh man, that must be so neat. And good for you. I know that they are going to come out amazing. Abso-freaking-lutely amazing. So, yay! Well, and that does sound like a whole lot of work that you got going on. We've got some screen printing equipment, so I'm trying to get more comfortable making one-color images for t-shirts and stuff. Nice. You got a mug press. Oh man, you are moving. I mean, that is like, you know, you're getting into that serious professional art type of thing. And graphic art, that is awesome. Oh my gosh. I mean, I didn't even know mug press existed. So it's like, how do they even put it on the mug? But now I know that a press exists. Thank you. I know something I didn't know this morning. And hats. Maybe once we get everything up and running, I need to get you some hats for your hat collection. Oh, Cujo, I would be honored to get a hat from you for a hat, part of my hat collection. Oh, that is so neat. And it does sound like a lot of exciting stuff going on for you. And, you know, it just, I mean, you never know when things are just going to go off into an off direction, and maybe a direction we didn't figure on, and, you know, maybe it even complicates our lives a bit. And remember, you've made it through everything you've ever faced. And if right now things are kind of in that ugh place, then, you know, they say some days you're the baby and some days you're the diaper. Well, if you've been having a diaper day, it happens, and you'll have a baby day eventually. You know, that's the thing. You know, it's the hat collection will be so big that it'll not fit in a box or a bag one of these days. Yes. Lol, you don't have to promote my stream, by the way. I've not streamed in years. Probably will not be if I do, probably be a fresh start. Oh, that's right. You got the I left you on the, okay, so what I'll do is I will alter the chat bot thing that is on, because that is on my scripts. Okay, hold on. Let me which group did I have you in? Hold on. Let me see if I can find you in here. I will go ahead and remove you from that. Well, there's a lot in that category. Let's see. You know what? I've got a big section in that category, but I promise after the stream I will go through that and I will get that corrected for you, my dear. Ignoble design. Ooh, I like that. Kind of a mouthful. Hi, so someone has an update to share. Really? Hey, I have an update. Hey, great. So, I am kind of nervous. Well, then you can either share it or not, sweetie. It's okay. And if you choose to share it, then, you know that this is a safe place for it. If it feels like it's something more personal, you can put it over in the Discord rather than in the chat. So, lots of options. I don't want to disrupt your stream too. I just want to let you know I will take a look at it. Well, it's something I kind of got to share. I'm at a sleepover right now. Cool. Fruity Leaves. Sleepovers are fun. I mean, it's good to know that kids are still doing sleepovers. Gray. Spit it out, kiddo. I'm old. We're watching Titanic. Oh, okay. We won't spoil how it ends. Oh my God, I was at a movie theater, and it was back when Titanic was in theaters. And I wasn't going to see that. I was seeing something else, but I was listening to a group of folks who, young people who were going in, and one of the group had mentioned, it's like, oh man, it just breaks my heart at the end when the ship sinks. And there was actually a girl in the group that looked at that person and said, spoilers! Excuse me? How could you not know that at the end of Titanic the ship goes down? It's kind of a historical thing. But I just thought it was hilarious that there was somebody who said, oh, wow, it's that they didn't know. They didn't know that the ship went down, the Titanic went down. It's like, oh my God, read a book! The Titanic is really a good movie, but it is sad. Yes, it is. I feel like it's a sin for you not to have either custom railroad conductor hat or a custom railroad engineer hat, where they would say, love Trade Express on the hat for you. It's too good of a thing to pass up an idea, of course. It's kind of for a hat collection. Definitely cool if it happens. There was room on the door for Leo. Just saying. Yes, and everybody welcome in the inimitable, the amazing J Stun Z, one of my moderator Supremes, who is also my OBJ Stun Zobi in all things from first-person shooters to figuring out OBS, finding love in my time at Porsche, to farming like an absolute wizard in Stardew Valley, to figuring out Staten Island, and he is the king of New York, the reigning monarch of Staten Island, and I will hear no argument to that. So, okay, well, Grayson, you can just kind of go through this. We'll catch up with you eventually. You know, I don't know, is this just dramatic effect? Or, Gray, if you really are hesitating this much to share it, then maybe you shouldn't. You know, if there's this much hesitation, if you're having an issue, now if it is for dramatic effect, then okay. But if this is really, you know, if it's causing this much hesitation for you, then probably it's not something you should share. You know, or maybe you just share it in the Discord. But if you're hesitating this much, you know, to post it in the chat, then, you know, then it might be best if you not. Because, you know, I don't want you doing anything that you're uncomfortable with. I get all my history knowledge from Twitch streamers. Hiya, Mr. Zoomies. Hello, Lady Zoom Zoom. Ah, perfect. No, I'm hyperventilating. Well, sweetie, if you're hyperventilating, then do not share. It is, you know, sharing something important, sharing something on this stream. It's about people sharing what they want to. If you're hyperventilating, your body is saying, do not share this. So then don't. I mean, honestly, if it's causing you this much anxiety, if it's triggering up this much of your nerves, then do not share it. Then this isn't the right time. Pick another time. We stream a lot. You can pick another time when you feel better and when you feel more comfortable about it. But if you're hyperventilating, don't share it at all. So, you know, just leave it. No, you shouldn't. I disagree. You should not share it if it is uncomfortable. And if you're hyperventilating, it's uncomfortable. So no. You know, yeah, it stopped thankfully, but I got, wait a minute, what? Then the rain stopped. Yes, it is raining here. Yeah, maybe don't share it or share it later when not that intense. I should share it. Yeah, it stopped thankfully, but I got out of the bus into a swamp. No! So I'm trying to find myself. Cool. We're skipping to the end where, spoiler, someone gets shot yet. But I'm a little nervous. I'm getting injections in my back in a few hours. Oh, that's later on today. Well, you know what? The techniques that are being used for that sort of thing is it's really, really cool. And yes, there's going to be some discomfort. And the results when, back my patients who had similar procedures done said that it really ended up going over very well for them. So yeah, it is never a fun thing to get injections in your back. That can be a very scary thing. And you're going to be surrounded by professionals who know what they're doing. It's going to be all right. I'm just scared of myself. Well, and I'm thinking of changing my name. Okay, well then I would suggest you think more about it, because it should be something, changing your name should be something that is embraced, that is cool, that is a celebration. You don't want to go into something like that, something that's sacred, and have anxiety about it, and there's no time limit. There's no, oh, you have to do this by this time. No, take your time, think about it. I went through a name change, and it does shift stuff, but, and the thing is, before you think of changing anything, I think you need to stop where you say you're scared of yourself. You need to go and maybe sit with that a little bit. Because, oh no, walking in swamp-like condition. So far, I'm trying out Jasmine. So I want to be called Jasmine for now. Okay. So, I was just nervous because earlier I got in an emotional mess over it. Well, sweetie, first off, we will call you whatever it is that you choose. Now, if at some point I forget, or if you're putting in, you can put in Jasmine. I mean, I know it's hard to change the name, but, just give a notation because I may remember, I may not further down the line. And I think that it sounds like you need to settle into this a little bit more, because if you're that nervous about a decision like that, it should, like I said, it should be something you celebrate. It should not be something that makes you that uncomfortable. So I would say that, of course, we will honor Jasmine. And you need to sit with this a bit more, because if this is causing this, in my mind, it hasn't gelled yet. And, take your time. Don't feel pressure in doing it. You can only do what you can do at your own pace. Yeah. It'll be okay, Jay. Just breathe through it. Honestly, the worst part is the pinch and the unfortunate need for icing for a day or two. And Iron Eagle, hashtag Doxagoomer. Yes, we'll see what happens. Grayson is more gender neutral. I want to become more feminine now. Okay, no problem with that. I get injections in my spine and neck between the shoulder blades. I understand the nerves. Yeah. I've been thinking about it for a while. I'll remind you. Thank you. It's just for now. I'm being it, and you know why. I was kind of hoping that you were going to forget that. I really was. As I said, take your time. You don't need to rush yourself. Might change it back or try some other names. Is it Bean Boozled? Yes, there is a reason. Yes, I did get your DM. Yes. I mean, it was an off-stream swore. It was, and I will take the hit. I will say, all right. It was a moment of kind of outrage. Sort of. All right, what are we going with? This is either, what is this? I think it's dead fish or strawberry banana smoothie. So, yes, for a swore that will go unnamed. We don't need details on it, but I did do a swore. So, fine. Okay. Universe, you know what kind of day I've been having. Give me this one. Yes! Yes! Strawberry banana! Strawberry banana smoothie! Thank you! Oh, thank you, Universe. I appreciate this so much. Yes! Oh, it's so good. So tasty. Well, it's named. Let's see. I told her I failed her, and she called. Yes, I called BS on it. And no, you're not going to trick me into saying it again. Boy, are you lucky I did not bean you for swearing when we play Stardew. So, yeah, not been the best of days. Yep. Jay does not bean. I mean, it was bad enough watching him. I actually watched him eat a pizza with pineapple on it, and I seriously, as a doctor and a friend, was very concerned for his welfare. And I have requested that he never, ever, ever do that again. Is it about the thing Mom was worried about yesterday? Maybe. What did you say again, Doc? I didn't hear. Yes, I said a swore in a message, and in the message I did say that I would eat a bean for it later. Yes, I like pizza with pineapple. Some do. That was literal torture, not gonna lie, and it looked like literal torture for Jay. And I was, for Jay it goes way beyond just pineapple. It was such a bad experience to watch him go. And he was such a trooper. He was such a, oh my gosh. I was so, on one hand, I was proud of him. On the second, as soon as I saw his face and really what it was doing to him, it's like, please stop. Like, seriously, I hate all pineapple. And yet, and it was so bad, it was. And yet, he was a man of his word. He had said that he would do it, and he did it. And like I said, on one hand, I was very proud of him. On the other hand, it was like, Jay, please stop. It's like me getting Onyx to eat mushrooms. Oh yeah, that's a thing. But, you know, and it is about being able to go, you know what? Sometimes we just have to stand up and do what we need to do and face what we need to face. And, you know, and it is important for us to be a person of our word, to be able to say, you know what? I will only do that again for a big goal. I've succeeded in getting him to do it a few times now, though. See, it takes time. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. I'm still processing it all, 10 years of waiting down the fudging drain. Well, you know what? And the thing is, you can look at it that 10 years is the exact amount of time needed to release it. And yeah, some things take 10 years, some things take 20 years, some things take 50 years. It doesn't matter. Because the thing is, there's always going to be something else to aggravate you down the line. Life is fun until it isn't, and it sucks until it doesn't. And no matter how much, you know, I mean, we go through something and we go, oh my gosh, it's done, it's over, you know, all of this. And then we do have to face that something else is going to come in, something else is going to be aggravating, something else is going to be an issue, a problem. And that's just how life is. It's the human condition. It is us being able to face the fact that, you know, both the good times and the bad times are going to pass. And eventually stuff gets worked out. Eventually a solution will be found, because it always has. How big of a goal, Jay? I don't know. Behave yourself. There would have to be something I want or need, like a new PC or a full TwitchCon payoff. Yes. You know what? I'm not even sure that either one of those would be worth watching you go through eating pineapple pizza again. I'm being an angel over here. Of course. So, you know, it's like, and it can be just when you think you're on top of the world and everything's working out, and then a monkey wrench gets thrown into the process. And that happens to all of us. We all end up dealing with that. And just in that same way, just when we think, oh my gosh, nothing is going to work out, oh, it's going to be, you know, it's like everything is going wrong, and then that one thing that goes right. And it gets turned around. The pendulum always swings both ways. I mean, unless it's caught in the middle. But other than that, just trying to keep up beat. Yeah, sometimes that is. In order for me to literally want to hate myself, it has to be worth it. Exactly. Healing has no expiration date, only a ballpark guess of recovery. Even then, there's no telling how accurate that'll be, because everyone is slightly different. I mean, that is absolutely true. Fire Noter, pop that over in Inspiring Thoughts. Because, you know, healing has no expiration date. Grief has no expiration date. Our dreams have no expiration date. I mean, pretty much as long as we're here, we've got a chance. Maybe things won't work out exactly the way you want them to. And there's always a chance. There's always something that we can, and all we can do is our best. All we can do is the best we can do to figure out those difficult times, to figure out that monkey wrench thrown into the machine. And if we just can't figure that out to do it that way, well, then we have to figure out something else. I know better than to misbehave in here. Mom and Jay can reach me outside of Twitch. The amount of trouble I can get in is not worth the actual trouble. Oh, you know what? You do you, my dear. Jay says he is wax strips on there. I'd rather do that than eat pineapple pizza. Fist bump high five. Jay, please. I mean, short of, you know, a huge, I mean, 6-figure or more thing, please do not eat another pineapple pizza, because it just hurt my heart watching you struggle with that. I mean, he ain't kidding when he says he hates that. And the thing is, when we are able to, you know, to balance out the things that we have to go through versus the things we get to go through because they give us something, you know, because there's that whole thing of a struggle is only an issue if there's nothing on the other side of it that is something worth fighting for. I mean, if there's something worth struggling for, the struggle isn't quite so overwhelming. I mean, it can still be really overwhelming, but consider what it is you have to gain from it. And it is, you know, it's like I tried a chocolate pizza once, never freaking again. Yes. And I ate a whole pizza over a few days. It wasn't just one slice. That was the deal. A full pizza. So it was repeated torture. No! Oh, poor thing. A chocolate pizza? I mean, I kind of go into a weird direction when it comes to dessert pizzas. I've got a picture in my mind about what my expectation is. And then dessert pizza goes completely outside of that. It's like chocolate. Look, there's a lot of things that are dough with chocolate on it. I can have those, but just don't call it a pizza. I think Doc wanted to cry for me. I did. I cried a little bit, actually. I was like, you know, I was in full on, no, don't hurt yourself, no. I was highly upset. I got a bad feeling in my tummy. Oh man, Dairy Queen did the Treatza pizza. Yum. I have no idea what that is. Ooh. Thunder. And eventually lightning. Oh, yeah, we're having kind of a storm here. I bet I might have to if I saw the amount of torment you put yourself through. Yes, he definitely, and it was like on stream, so it was there for everybody. It's a dessert pizza. My favorite flavor was Score. What is Score? Ooh, very frightening. Going to be 32 Celsius tomorrow. No way going out anywhere. Scottish Gamer! Hey! What is up, my friend? So, yes. At those times, we got hit with a storm last night. I think there's another one coming tonight. Well, then we will be sharing a storm. When the lightning flashes, count how long till the thunder, and that tells you how close the storm is to you. Score is a chocolate bar. Ah! Do I know? Have I heard of that? There's something familiar about it, but I'm old. I don't know. Anyway, but, you know, and yeah, there's always going to be a storm. Either you're going to be leaving a storm, enduring a storm, or recovering from a storm. Those are like the three parts of storms in our life. Not every storm constitute rain, thunder, and lightning. Sometimes we can get a storm in our life when it just seems like, excuse me, this is not okay. And we have to go through the not okay part. Is it safe to say I lost 12 pounds by sweating? Were you sweating to the oldies? I mean, you know, first off, 12 pounds, good for you. But I just hope that it wasn't like, you know, you had a horrible virus or something and you were miserably sick and feverish. I hope not, because that's a lot of weight to lose being sick. I've not heard of a Score bar in a long time, but you have heard of one. I had a thought, what if the inspiring thoughts were in a series of YouTube vids what highlighted the inspiring thoughts from the stream, so then if people who can't read can have access to these words of wisdom, maybe it just might help someone wise and able to. Well, considering the fact that everything gets posted on, I'm now posting the streams onto YouTube, so people can look at that. So are you talking about just taking the specific things and posting them? I will have to figure out whether or not I can have the bandwidth for that. That would actually be quite a bit. I mean, it could be like for like YouTube Shorts type of thing, but you know, by doing that, because it would be like, you know, every day doing the recording or making the recording, clipping the video, there would actually be quite a bit of work involved in that, and I have to see what my time would be. I mean, we'll put it on the list of suggestions. I might get chicken parm with vodka sauce. Oh, everything goes good with vodka sauce on the way home from injections. Yes, you need to treat yourself with something. And be careful, because sometimes, you know, there can be other effects like a little bit of queasiness or something, or a little bit of discomfort. So just make sure that, you know, it's okay to go and have something nice and heavy. Like what I'm going through. Yeah, you know, it's like it was 84 degrees today. Yes. Sounds like a lovely treat. Pat on the back for getting past the poking and prodding. It's thankfully I'm guessing dropped to 64 now, but it's still humid and warm. Also, Doc, you have to let me know what happened today later on. Yeah, there was an unforeseen development that would you like a bit of context, or is this going through like the message you sent? Because I know that's been kind of a long-standing thing. If you would like to go contact Iron Eagle, go for it. You know, if you wanna flesh that out. Because everybody didn't see the message, so you know, you can give like a you know, basic background and then share that. Just remember that it only lets you put so much in the chat at a time. Good or bad? Well, a little of both, actually. Maybe if you can't clip them, put a timestamp on those inspiring thoughts instead, as they're posted on the normal YouTube stuff. We'll talk there. You know, everything went great, and then one thing came up that could be a challenge. So oh shit, now I'm curious. Yeah, I will fill you in. It was something I was not expecting, and it led to something else that has complicated things. And Jerry! Thinking about eating a spicy pizza ain't helping right now. You know, a spicy pizza is there. J. Whatever. Alright, bean it. Okay, so this is either dirty dishwater or birthday cake. Dirty dishwater or and you can't even smell it. It won't let you. It won't let you even smell it. Okay. All right, Bean Universe. We're going on the theory that the universe is going to be nice to me. Oh my God! It's birthday cake. Yes. Something is happening nice in the universe. I have hope again. Oh my goodness, birthday cake is so good. Yummy. I have never gotten this many close together. That's 2 good ones in a row. So we're gonna sit on those laurels. Yum, birthday cake. To rephrase that, it's not helping me now that I read that back. Slowly making progress in a game that gave me the hardest of panic nopes. Oh my goodness. Games, I mean, and see, that absolutely proves that our brains do not register the difference between something real happening and something that is just a thought happening. Because consider that you're playing a game. Let's say it's a scary game and you're being chased by something and you get like anxiety and anxiety and screaming and all of that other stuff. Your brain does not define. You will still release the same adrenal reaction as if it were real. So that's why, when we think about something maybe from the past that hasn't happened for a long time, but we think about a particular moment and we feel it as if it's happening right then, unless we've been able to let it go. If we haven't, we feel it with the intensity and the anger and the upset. And so that is something that we're going to keep doing until we basically switch the file where it's kept, as far as, whether or not it goes into storage and is no longer accessible, or if it is still there, and when we think about it, we relive it in a moment that it's not happening. And that can be a very, very difficult thing to be able to get our heads wrapped around. I mean, it's like the way I define forgiveness is the point when a person or event will no longer inspire in me a feeling I don't want to feel. If I think about somebody and I get angry, then I know I haven't forgiven them. And so forgiveness is not about anything being okay. It's not about anything, being just, okay, well, we're going to put this in a box. We haven't really resolved it, but we're just going to put it in a box and pretend like it never happened. I mean, you can define, if you want to define forgiveness that way, you get to define it any way you want. To me, I haven't reached it until I am at an emotionally neutral place when I think about it. And when we relive that thing, when we relive that moment, we are experiencing everything that we would experience literally as that moment was happening. But it's something that's created. It's a biochemical reaction because it's not happening now. But in our minds don't know the difference. So that's something that we can, definitely keep track of. Where is our mindset? What are we focusing on? And even if, our conscious brain can know that it's not happening now, that it was in the past, but that is the whole nature of, the various PTSD syndromes, is that there's no separation between now and then. Time doesn't exist. It's a thought, and that thought is immediate. So, it can be very, very challenging to be able to work around that and not go into that, old feeling, because it's not as old as you think, and it's a lot older than you think. So after I try harder to get you, then got it. Really, Jay? Don't try that hard. So my brother's family's been calling everything under the sun, and I get accused of being his drug dealer, and I'm like, enough. Thankfully, I've held my tongue. Iron Eagle, I'll give you credit on that, because I went through a similar situation. Careful, Doc, don't get ahead of yourself. Might be a trap that allows you to think everything is fine when really bamboozle is just be building up for a greater disappointment. Just saying because I care. So that's why he's going back to the U.S. and also poop happens. At that point, it's not so much what I'll say, but what I'll do. Hopefully they don't cross my path. And see, the thing is, if them crossing your path could cause a reactive reaction, not a thinking reaction, a reactive reaction. It is not choosing an action, it is an action choosing you in a way. So if it's still at that point, then you can decide what you want to do with it. Either commit to going, you know what, I will hate these people for the rest of my life and find peace in that. And then just go, you know what, I'm just never going to see them again. I don't want anything to do with them. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to hear anything from them. Cut it, you cut people off. Say, you know what, I will not respond to your number. I will not speak to you, nothing. So that's one end of the spectrum, where if it is that, if there's that much that's there that cannot be released, then it's best to completely cut off any and all ties and just say, it's like, you know what, it doesn't matter what they say, because you'll never speak to them again. Because you can be complete going, you know what, we're done. Or you go to the other end of the spectrum where you take a look at, okay, so the stuff that I'm feeling, I don't want to feel. And if there is anything that would be any hope of a relationship, like I said, this is the other end of the spectrum. Or even if not, but I don't want to hold any anger with myself. I want to be able to, if I see them on the street, I won't care. It's just, it's like, well, okay. So wherever on that spectrum you lie, just understand that ultimately it's about what this thing is doing for you versus what it's doing to you. And that's an important question that folks need to figure out, that when they have these things, when they have these circumstances, what is it doing for me to hold on to this thought, and what is it doing to me? Because if, it's like in cases where, it's like, oh man, this thing, and I'm really worried about it, and, and I'm very concerned. What is that concern doing for me, and what is it doing to me? Okay, the concern, I suppose if I had to say what a concern does for me, is that it kind of lights a fire up underneath me to get something done. It's like, okay, this is now, I can't move it back to the back burner. This is now on the front burner. I need to take care of this immediately. This is something that I have to focus on. So I suppose that would be the one thing that it does for me. What it does to me has the potential to just make me give up on things and to drive me into a state of feeling helpless. But ultimately, I still have to take an action. So, I think that it is, it's like, hopefully they don't cross your path, then make sure that they don't. And if they do, if you see them, you turn around and you walk in a different direction. I've known a lot of people who reach that point, even with family. And, there's been no contact. They just said, you know what, we're done. And there was absolutely no contact. There were no phone calls. There was nothing. No holidays, no cards, no acknowledgement. And while it's sad, sometimes, yes, there are circumstances where that's an appropriate thing. And if people are just so tremendously toxic, what are you going to do? If you've got people in your life that are that toxic, keeping them in your life is your choice. So as long as, we take ownership of what belongs to us, it's like, yes, this person aggravates the bejesus out of me, and if I choose to keep them in my life, I'm buying into this. And yes, sometimes that can be very, very hard. And it's not impossible. And we have Scottish Gamer redeemed bunny ears. Okay, bunny ear cam tilt. All right, we've got the Twitch hat, we've got the bunny ears. Perfect. Let's see, I feel you on that, but the second I seen the person that put me through your similar situation, I couldn't hold myself back, and I'll say that it hadn't ended well. Yeah. And the thing is that we have, it's important to be able to choose, do we give them the power to turn us into someone we don't want to be? And that's the ultimate thing. It's like, you know what? I don't like who I am when I'm around this particular person. It's like, well, then why be around them at all? Why not go, okay, I see that person across the room, I'm leaving. But once we see them, and then it engages, that primal reactive thing engages, and we forget about consequences, we forget about, and the thing is that whatever we do, once it's done, we rarely feel good. It's rarely I won. It's like, man, I gave them the power to turn me into somebody I didn't want to be. And I don't like that. I don't like the fact that I gave them that power. I gave them power over me. So it can be tricky, and that's why it's really important to be able to get counseling around stuff. If it's a relationship that's going to be maintained, counseling is key. That is something, having somebody there who can mediate between the two professionally. It can't be anybody who's attached to either side. Somebody who's totally neutral, who could just go, okay, I hear you, okay, I hear you, here's what I'm hearing from both of you. If there is no desire to have that relationship, it's like, I ain't giving nobody the power to send me to jail. So, that's not happening. Just yesterday at my company, around 20 people were made redundant. Oh no! The company then sends an email saying those who didn't receive the redundancy meeting are safe. I'm one of those who survived, but I'm feeling uneasy because I don't know if there'll be another round. Oh yeah. Okay, sweetie, low-key human. Okay, first let me catch up with the chat, but I have seen that exact situation. What it does to me is making me mad and somewhat depressed. Okay, so if it's about whether or not that is not what you want to feel, and oddly enough, that is an important question to ask. It makes me feel mad, or do I want to feel mad so I think about something that'll make me mad? It is about what it, if the goal is I need to feel mad about something, oh, there's a convenient thought. So it does go into that place of being able to separate and go, all right, this is what this person did. This is how I'm responding to it. The part I'm responding to is all on me. It is the best, my best thought that I can have based on what I experience, what I know, and how I am at this moment. The result is anger. And it is something, if you don't want to feel those things, then it's definitely a place where therapy and counseling can help. Because what it does is, if it's like only having a hammer, and if all you have is a hammer, then you treat the whole world like it's a nail. And gaining more tools to be able to feel empowered enough to say, you know what, I get to choose what I feel. And if I feel something I don't want to feel, I'm going to look into that, because I am going to change that, either by letting go of something or by cutting people out of my life. And there's something very liberating about cutting somebody out of your life. There's been very few times in my life that I've done it, and the times that I did, my life improved exponentially, because I got completely out of, it's like a loop that happens. I got out of the loop. I got off the merry-go-round and said, you know what? They can stay on the merry-go-round. I will have nothing else to do with them. And it's through that I was able to go, you know what? Now I can let go of all that stuff, because now they are a part of my past. So now this can become a part of my past. But when you still deal with the person, it makes it really hard. Let's see. I can't say I know your scenario, but it helps keep calm mindset, because it only makes it harder to deal with in a foggy, stressed out mindset. Yep. Causes chaos in the mind. Yep. DDK tomorrow, Doc. Doc does. Yes, Doc is doing kick tomorrow. But the plus side, I can always call the police. Yeah. It's calling the police. getting an order that they cannot contact you, or just flat out saying, it's like, you know what? I will hear nothing from you. I'm blocking your numbers. I'm blocking your emails. I will not answer a letter. I will throw it away. I will not even open it. If you send me a letter, I will throw it away. Don't talk to me. Don't communicate with me. We're done. That's it. So, at getting a restraining order, yeah. That's the same when I was back in my school days, was bullied by the same person for 8 years of my school life. That made me life hell, made me mentally unstable. The second I snapped, that's when all hell broke loose. Yeah. And it is that slow building and building and building and building and building. And then all of a sudden, and when that snap happens, we're not in choice. We're not choosing that. We are reacting. And we're reacting to a sustained stress that's built up and basically explodes. So my feeling is that, acknowledging it before it reaches that point, intervene before it reaches like level 10, and say, you know what, I'm at 5 or 6 and this has got to stop. I'm not dealing with this. Something has to change. Because the thing is, if we don't act to change something, then, and everybody's got a lot of reasons why they don't act to change things. But the thing is that it builds up, it builds up, it builds up. And then when we explode, and it's like, well, I had the right to explode. Technically, you didn't. Technically, you chose it. Because by letting everything build up and build up and build up, it was like, well, I'm just going to throw as much gasoline on this fire as I can. And then when it explodes, it's like, well, it wasn't my fault. There's ownership. And it's important to be able to take ownership for our choices. And that's a thing. And it's a very difficult thing, which is why it's really important when there's been past trauma that it be helped to be either resolved or at least taking some of the strength away from it by understanding that it was an event and looking at those places where you grew from it. So for now, keep calm and our guru will be with you in a moment. Yes. And I'm going to take a minute because it's getting me aggravated now that I sat here and thinking about it. Yep. The brain does not define between thought and reality. In a time like this, I wish I still had my PS4 and popping skulls. Yes. Evening. Yay. Lurking Psyduck. After a decade at the same company working in a typical office, I'm prepared to let it go every year. I just learned not to give them my time worrying because I can be the hardest, most loyal worker. At the end, I'm just a number. They'll give me a pink slip at any moment. Yep, that is true. Little man now crawling. Nice. Night, Doc. That's why it's important to always be looking for your next employment opportunity, building skills, keeping good relationships at work for future reference. So I need some positive juju sent out into the ether. Pretty please. My bio uncle passed away 2 years ago. My bio family is currently in a court battle too. Okay, you can fill in the rest of that. All right, let's talk about the idea of, first off, there's a level of survivor's guilt, my dear. Because of the fact that, it's like when everybody else gets laid off, there's that, oh, well, I'm still here. So, my dear low-key, a part of this is survivor's guilt. And then when survivor's guilt happens, it is, and especially in that type of a situation, it ends up going into that feeling of insecurity. It's almost like, the people who got cut in the first group, at least it was clean. At least it was like, oh, okay, it was the string was cut. When you're not in the first group, but could possibly be in a second or a third, the anxiety that creates is huge. And, and it is important to be able to acknowledge and understand that these are all things that you don't have control over. You had no choice in who got laid off. You have no choice in who's going to be laid off, including you. And the idea that, there's a couple of different things going on. So, your question, what can you do? Well, acknowledge that this is a grief process. Grief, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. Getting real in every feeling. So, my dear, I would suggest first off that, you take some time to just kind of acknowledge how hurtful this is for you. That it's scary. If you've got somebody who you can, sit down and just have next to you and talk about it, and just talking about what it feels like to wonder, what it feels like to, to have that uncertainty. Maybe it'll be next week, maybe it'll be next month, maybe it'll be never. But to be able to acknowledge what it is for you to grieve the fact that you might not be able to keep your job. And especially as we're heading into the holiday season, that can be really tough and it sucks. The second thing is knowing that you might be in a situation where your job ends. After you take time to experience some grief, and you're going to experience more later, but to really acknowledge the effect that this is having on you. And then, because that's like right brain, go into the right brain and, the emotion and all of that, and acknowledge it out loud. I mean, it's so wonderful that you were able to post that. And that is a part of working through it. That's a part of the process. Left brain is sitting there going, okay, when we're done with the feels, there's some stuff we can do. We can start, looking around and seeing what else is available. Maybe, dust off that resume. You got a CV there that, you can update, get that updated. Think about what it is that you would like to do if that occurrence happens. Because when we can, have that plan B, if you've got a plan B, then it takes a bit of the sting out of that. Or maybe your plan B is, I'm just going to go on unemployment insurance for a bit, and I'm going to take my time. I'm going to take at least a couple of days just to kind of go, oh, okay, this change has happened. Now, when you see a potential change coming, it gives you a little bit more leeway in figuring out how you want to deal with it. But my dear, the first thing is just acknowledge what you're feeling. Be real in that, and let yourself grieve. If it means sitting down and, yelling into a pillow and saying this isn't fair, this isn't right, do it. And then once you kind of get that emotional piece out, and do some of that grieving around that, then start going, okay, if I were to get laid off, what would be the first thing I'd want to do? What would be the second thing I want to do? What would be a good idea for me to have in place before I do this? So, the fact that, you don't know exactly what the status is, and Lord knows there's not anybody who's going to tell you, because that's not how it works in those situations. It's like they go through the first group, they may not have another group, or they may have another group, within the next week. Or maybe they kind of pick and choose from the department, if they want to try to keep the company going. Usually when stuff like this happens, the company is not on good standing. The company is not on good financial ground. And, it's like, well, we got to cut people in order to lower our overhead. So it may be that there might be certain people who would be more mission critical, and where you would fall in that, I don't know. And you have every right to be upset. You have every right. It would be perfectly normal and appropriate to grieve and to be upset at this. That is the most sensible thing you could possibly be feeling right now. And, just get in touch with that. Give yourself time, because, you've got a hot minute to be able to just sit down and go, you know what, this really hurts me. This sucks. And don't underestimate that whole survivor's guilt thing. It's like they left and I'm still here and now I'm scared. It would have almost been, you probably would have had less fear around it if you had been in that first group. But, you made the cut. And now it's just like, oh God, I didn't even know I had anything to be that, worried about. And now I've got extra stuff to be worried about. I mean, I'm sure you feel for your friends and coworkers that were notified. So being able to kind of put all of that into perspective, to allow yourself an opportunity to take a breath and go, okay, I got to figure out where I am emotionally. And then after you've had a chance to honor that, then go to creating a plan B. And I know you can. So consider it. Lovely Cammy, hi. Pray for a lovely weekend as well. Well, we will definitely, from your mouth to God's ear, as the old people say. Bunny ears. Yep, we got the bunny ears on. My attorney's trying to get enough legal documents to prove that I am a legitimate heir, as my bio-father passed away in 99, but it was a cluster, because of child services when I was growing up. Oh, and he's not listed. Oh, okay. So now it has to be that establishment. And the U.S. courts divided up the funds between the living family members if no will is made. Ah, okay. So yeah, that's a whole bag of badgers. And anytime anything is legal stuff that goes on, it's rough. It really is. And the whole thing in this situation, and Queen, I definitely hope that comes through for you guys. In whatever situation you're in, the key thing is to first consider your feelings. Consider what you feel and address that, because we get so wrapped up in the event that we don't pump the brakes just enough to go, wow, I am feeling ... And to really acknowledge that. And you have every right to acknowledge what you're feeling. And then afterwards, it's about going, okay, what parts of this do I have control over? And however much of that you have control over your situation, that's the amount of energy to put into it. If you've got a lot of control over a part of something, put your energy there, no doubt. If it's something you don't have much control over, or even don't have much control over in that moment, then limit the amount of energy you're putting into it in that moment. Trying to get the docs from the county I grew up in, which is the current holdup. Paperwork sucks. And we've got Silver, who put in a bunch of pics, new baby pics. Yep, we've got baby and puppers, baby with food. Today I'm 36 weeks old. Baby crawling, baby going, what's that? Baby wearing food, baby contemplating their toes. Yes. Very, very, very cool. Oh, it's always so lovely. And Psycho Chick 316. Hey Doc Hearts. Hey my dear, how are you? On my way to get pin cushion. I'll text you when I get out. Yes, let me know how you're doing, my dear. Buzz me when you're back, and rest. He's in the speed crawling phase. Oh yes, that is always so fun. I'm good. How are you? I'm doing. Recently, my life got a little bit complicated, but I'll figure it out. And the first thing I'm doing is acknowledging that there are things that are bothering me, and that I'm taking ownership of that, and giving myself a little bit of time to go, man, this sucks. And then from there, it's easier for me to go through that, then start working on a solution, as opposed to trying to work on a solution while I'm still in my feels. So, yeah. As I said earlier, I have a new shadow. Yay! Don't forget to ice it, Jay. It'll help with the swelling. Oh, we must all ice now, mustn't we? Ice is our friend, especially when we need to calm an area down swelling-wise. I completely understand that. I hope everything gets right for you. Thank you, my dear. But what are you up to? What are you doing? Are you streaming? Are you, inquiring minds want to know? And yes. Now that Jay's gone off to his doctor's appointment, if you want to talk about your stream in the chat, please do so. We want to know what you stream, when you stream, why you stream, how you stream. Are you working on a goal? Are you working on some sort of thing? Are you streaming on another platform? Are you doing a new thing? Are you going for affiliate? Are you going for partner? Hashtag Pat the Partner. This old lady. Are you working on building something that will allow you to stand and cry out from the highest mountaintops, I did a thing? And as you look down upon that valley, it is filled with the abundance that is rolling towards you like a tidal wave. Hashtag all that stuff, this old lady. Let's see. Oh, it says I have a big anniversary coming up. What is the anniversary? Happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary. Yes, the anniversary songs. 5 years affiliate. Fist bump, high five. Oh my goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Congratulations. So, are we doing a thing? Please let us know. I'm kind of streaming sometimes when I'm mentally positive enough to. I start work on Monday, really. I have my first child support court date on Thursday. Oh my goodness gracious. It's been 2 years of doing everything by myself, so I'm hoping it goes well for me. We are fist bump high-fiving that and sending out all of the good vibes that are going to surround you in this opportunity that turn everything around, and every possible, spirit, angel, guardian, guide, everybody is going to come together, and Saint Jude, the patron saint of impossible things, and Ganesh, who is the Hindu god of overcoming and removing obstacles. May they both work together in tandem in a wonderful double dutch of benefit as you hop in the middle of the double dutch and everything just falls into place. Wow, that was vivid. As of the end of July, when I came into Twitch, it's been 6 years. Wow. Thank you. I'm trying to see if my mom will go with me for moral support. Absolutely. Get the moral support there. What did the doctor say with 2 patients with swelling injuries and a parents of a baby? Ice, ice, baby. Vanilla Ice joke. I believe the last time I heard he was selling bicycles. And yes, I'm planning on doing it an 8-hour stream on Friday to celebrate. Oh, goodness gracious. Great balls of fire. Okay, I know we did one, but we're doing another shout out for Silver Architect. Y'all, we have got an anniversary stream coming up a week from today. And definitely, Silver, post it in the Discord under promote yourself, please. That would be amazing. That would be awesome. So, but yeah, y'all, if you haven't checked out Silver Architect, please, please, please. So what are you planning on doing in an 8-hour stream? Are we doing art? Are we doing gaming? Oh my God. Okay, yes, segue. I was riding a bus, and there's a lot of very old buildings in Staten Island. Very old. And I should have brought this up while Jay was still here. There's this place called Seaview Hospital. And apparently there's like a modern hospital, but there was a much older hospital. And it's like a part of the hospital that was there. I look up and it's like, oh my God, it looks like one of the places you'd see in Phasmophobia. It's like this old, huge building, and, you know, some of the windows are missing and some of the walls are cracked open. And it's like, I could only imagine how terrifying it would be to walk through there. And yet there was a part of me goes, I want to walk through there. But, oh my gosh, there's nothing like an old, you know, abandoned hospital space that gives you the willies. But yes, I saw that, and it was like, oh my gosh, because it's like there's the new parts of it, but then there's these really old parts that just scream, I'm haunted. Let's see, a few games and maybe some paint by numbers, depends on how the stream goes. There's some old canneries around here like that. Oh my God, I mean, okay, shout out in the chat if there's a building where you live that would make the perfect scene for like Phasmophobia. That, you know, going in, it's like you go in, you have the flashlight and all that stuff, you know you're gonna find creepy stuff, and there's a good chance it's haunted or something. So yeah, I was fascinated by that, because it's like, because I mean, it was a big old building, and a lot of the buildings here are hundreds of years old. I love Faz. I wanted to go to haunted places. Oh my God, Psycho Chick, you come up to Staten Island, or down to Staten Island from your perspective. Oh my gosh, that, I mean, just driving past it. Have you ever driven past a building and it gave you the willies? It's like, oh, I could only imagine how creepy that would be, walking around in there in an old hospital. It's like every horror game based in a hospital. But, yep, I mean, I'm trying to think if there really wasn't any place on the mountain that was like that. And there wasn't really, I mean, in the Silicon Valley, if anything is old, they pretty much tear it all down and then build condos over it or something. But when you have a place that has, like, you know, buildings, like the old and the new are kind of set side by side, you know, it's like, oh, you get those big creepy, or like, you know, maybe it's even a house in a neighborhood that's old and creepy, and there are plenty of buildings like that in New York. Yes. But, you know, and again, it's all in the story that our brains create. And my brain immediately created a story where it's like, oh, I was picturing, and once again, the brain does not define reality from a thought in most cases. And as I was sitting, and, you know, the bus was going by, because it actually went kind of up, and, you know, it had to stop right in front of the newer part of the hospital. But as it went around, and I'm looking at this old section of the hospital that's this big crumbling building that's all dark inside, I actually was picturing myself being in there, like, with a flashlight and getting anxiety. So, yes. Oh, Jay's still here. I drove past the Trade Center a month after 9/11, and I hope I never feel that feeling ever again. But leaving again, bye. Yep. We have to talk about Seaview Hospital, because I think that Phasmophobia should be done there. There should be a Phasmophobia thing there. There's a house like that in San Jose, only the house is newer, but you drive by and it gives you a feeling of being watched. Yes. You know, it is. But, like, you know, some of you live in, like, you know, maybe rural areas or old areas, or maybe it's not even something like that. Post it and promote yourself and others. Yay! Thank you. But the fact that you know, I mean, and maybe it's a field. See, everybody, there is Silver's thing, so make sure you go check it out. But, you know, maybe it's like a field, and, you know, or like, especially like a cornfield. I don't know what it is about cornfields. but you look at it and you automatically get that feeling like, I want to go past this really quick. I know what they built that house on top of or what, but it's bad juju. Yes. And it is amazing what our brains create. What is it that our minds create for us? What are the things that are getting created just on autopilot? Maybe it's the vision of a truly haunted old hospital, and there's ghosts and creepy things inside of it, and we get that kind of feeling. Or maybe it's looking at a large crowd and thinking, I'm not going to be comfortable there. I'm not going to feel safe. What if somebody does this to me? What if somebody does that to me? What if somebody crowds me? What if, we start thinking of all that thing, of all those things. Or maybe it's a thought that, nothing is ever going to work out, and whatever it is, no matter what, everything seems to just, get complicated and get hard. And why can't anything just be easy? And nothing's ever going to be easy. Wherever our thoughts take us, that becomes the focus until we choose to focus on something else. There's so many places in Charleston, South Carolina. I went to a historic jail house there, and it was pretty neat. Ooh, cool. I don't know, especially when it's in a cornfield, that's rather corny to say. Corn jokes. Oh my gosh. Iowa State University has a corn cam. And I will tell you that I was told I had to check out the Iowa State corn cam. And basically, it's a camera set up on a field of corn. And that's the corn cam. And the corn cam has a lot of people who watch it. And they say if you're very quiet, you could actually hear the corn growing. Now, they also have a soy cam. But I was told, literally, the words were said to me, well, the soy cam's good, but it doesn't have the romance and adventure of the corn cam. And I'm like, but you're watching corn grow. But there were people who were very excited about that, and so it is about the perspective. It is about how you look at the things in your life, how you categorize them. And, quite honestly, we categorize everything. Everything that comes into our field of experience gets categorized. It's either categorized as something that is really cool, or it's categorized as something that's really bad. And usually, whichever category that falls into, you end up with, well, it was okay. There's few things that really stand out in our mind that were just okay. It's either the really good stuff or the really bad stuff. If it's something really good, it's like, oh, it gets put in that little special shrine area of cool things that happened to me. And, but we don't visit that very often. It's really interesting how seldom we visit that cool place. Oh no, we have the other category, the category of stuff that sucks, the category of bad things, the category of, okay, this bad happened, but bad things have happened to me before, so that means bad things will always happen, and that's what I'm going to accept. Oh my gosh, if it's a similar situation, it's going to be bad. So by deciding to create a different category, a category of events, and if we can manage to put those things, both from the good stuff and the bad stuff, into events. This is a thing that happened to me. It has the meaning that I give it. If it was something really great, well, that was a really great moment. That was very cool. I will think about that moment. Do I expect every moment to be like that for the rest of my life? No. But it was a cool moment that maybe, when I'm feeling kind of down, I can think about that cool moment. Or if it goes into the other category, it's like, well, that was a thing, and it's going to be a thing till it's not, and I'm going to have to deal with it, and it's going to suck. and I am not looking forward to this. So, it is, what are those same people? Oh, take care, Sil. Yes. So, being able to put things into perspective helps us figure out, well, Doc, me gonna call it a night to see my beautiful daughter tomorrow. It's early rise. Yay, good night. That sounds strange to me, watching plants grow, yes. So, yes, Silver, and we will definitely be catching up with you during your stream next week. Yay! So, deciding exactly how you want to categorize the things, because that's going to decide how you're going to work with it, or how it's going to work you over. If it's something that happened that's really hard, it can be like, I gotta go, need to get ready for an outing with Onyx. Mwah! You go give Onyx and my grandkitties a hug. Love you, sweetie. Have a great night. You too. Take care, everyone. So, being able to say, it's like, all right, this thing that is a bad thing that's happening to me is an event. It's like a photograph. I mean, maybe it's a long event. And figuring out how to make the best of it, and if nothing else, realizing, eventually, as long as I allow it to change, it will change. If we hold on to stuff, it makes it a lot trickier to allow it to change. If we get stuck in, this is how it is, and this is how it's going to be, and I will feel nothing around this but hurt. I mean, that's a choice. It is a choice. And we can choose. I'm back after a little breakdown. You know what, Scottish Gamer? Fist bump, high five. You do whatever it is you need to do. And sometimes a breakdown is a good thing. Sometimes it's a very good thing. Because what it does is it releases the pressure. It's like having a pressure cooker. And you don't want to try to take that lid off all at once because it could explode. When you twist that thing and it's like psh, and it slowly lets the steam out and lets it out in a controlled way, that means that you can open that sucker up and it doesn't explode on you. But yeah, I mean, it's important to be able to acknowledge when you need to get real in what you're feeling. And, it is an everyday thing, because at any given moment, something could come into our lives and muck things up. And when it happens, what do? Do we just decide that we want to lock ourselves in that very unpleasant moment? Or do we decide, well, things have sucked in the past, and likely there will be things in the future that suck. This is a moment that sucks. But I got through every single one of the ones in the past. And because of that, and because of what I learned, I know I can deal with all the ones in the future. So I just have to deal with this moment, doing the best I can with the tools I have. And if my tools are not sufficient, I can go and get more tools. I can speak to people. Maybe I can talk to friends. Maybe I can talk to a therapist. Maybe I can talk to a counselor. Maybe I can, talk to a support group. There's support groups for everything these days. And being able to, a breakdown is an opportunity to stop and evaluate if everything is okay and give you a break from whatever's going on. I mean, to me, a breakdown is like a reset button. A good cry is like a reset button. Because I know that once I finish crying and I wash my face and take a deep breath and have some tea, I'll go, okay, I've let the emotion out. Now, what are my options? What can I think of to resolve this? And it is. It's a rough situation. It's a rough thing to get into. And sometimes it is kind of hard to figure it out for ourselves. But being able to take the emotional intensity out of it, and once we do, all we're left with is left brain. It's like, okay, we've gotten all of the hormones and chemicals settled down. Now, here's what we've got to work with. If someone you loved came to you with that problem, you wouldn't tell them to give up. I highly doubt that. I highly doubt that you would tell them to, that they're just screwed and there's nothing they could do. No, you would probably say, hey, all right, time out, take a breath. Whew, okay, let's figure out what we've got to work with. Let's identify exactly what the problem is, and then let's start exploring some possibilities. We can do this. And, and it is. So size those brakes and maybe take a load off. Yep. Oh, seize those brakes. Yep. Well, seize them and size them. Figure out exactly, is it a big thing? Is it a little thing? Is it a medium thing? So being able to decide what it is that you ultimately want as your goal, and then you kind of reverse engineer it. It's like, okay, currently this is what I've got to work with. Is that enough? And then, in some cases it is, in some cases it isn't. Okay, if what I have is not enough, what is it that I could need? What would solve this problem? Let's say the problem was, I'm blanking. Okay, let's say you want to stream and you just have like a laptop that isn't really that good. It hasn't really got quite the guts for streaming. Well, what I would say is first acknowledge how much it's hurting you to not be able to do what you want to do. And just take a moment with that. Be real in that. Just kind of, it really hurts. I'm really upset about this. And it's not about a pity party. Well, or fine, throw yourself a pity party. I think everybody should throw themselves a pity party every once in a while. Because I think we can all do with stomping around and going, this is not fair, to whoever we believe is listening. Then you go through the grieving process, that emotional piece, and then you start looking at what it is that, okay, what have I really got to work with? And really it's important to figure out exactly what you want. Because, sometimes we're so keyed into wanting to get out of a mess that we haven't really established where we want to get to. So damn, Scotland FC won 3-0 against Cyprus. Yay! I'm guessing that's a yay? Yes! 3-0 against Cyprus. I mean, I'm sorry for Cyprus. I know you did your best, and much love to you. Go home, hold your head high, walk tall. But yes, Scotland won. Yay! Yeah, it's a yay. Okay, what's the difference between left brain and right brain? Because as far as I understand, it's the difference between talking with the Hulk, where the Hulk is like all emotions, while talking with Bruce Banner is all critical thought. I don't know if anyone else noticed that. Sort of. Right brain is that place of creativity. It is a place of imagination. It is the problem solving outside of the box. It is that place of being able to bring in the intangibles. It's like in solving a problem, you might have to, it's like, okay, well, this is a little bit of a weird solution, but we can do this. Left brain is numbers, it's analytical, it's logistic, it is logic. It's not about emotion, it's about zeros and ones. It is about problem solution. So, as each side, and that includes our way of communicating. The right brain, that would be for that eloquent speech, and when we make up stories and we create things and all of that. And left brain is, the communication is very straightforward, very, sensible, very, it's like, okay, tab A fits into slot B, and this, and Ordinary Olive, who is ordinarily extraordinary. Hello, my dear. That's one win closer to the UEFA Euro qualifiers. Yay! Go Scotland. Is that, does the team have a particular name, or is it just Scotland? So yay, rooting for them. Olive, how are you, my dear? What is up? What is happening? Are you streaming? Are you doing a thing? Are you just hanging out? Are you dealing? Are you celebrating? Are you, digging in your heels about something? Inquiring minds want to know. But it is important always to keep in mind that no matter what, none of us are ever going to create a perfect solution to anything. I mean, there are no perfect solutions. It's about finding the one that gets you the closest to what you're looking for. And again, it's about really defining what that thing you're looking for is. I mean, if somebody tells me, it's like, well, I need a whole bunch of money. It's like, well, what for? I mean, you don't just need a whole bunch of money because you want to play Scrooge McDuck and roll around in it, or maybe you do. If that's the case, okay. You do you. You can probably make it an OnlyFans page, but, that whole idea. But the thing is, it's not usually the money we want. We want what we believe the money will give us. So by changing the focus to that thing, like I was talking about, like a laptop. Oh, well, I want money. Well, why do you want money? Well, so I can get a laptop. Okay, so it's not necessarily money you want, but you want a laptop. Are there other ways to get that other than, ordering it on Amazon or whatever, if you don't have the funds to do that? So, being able to at least get an idea as to what you want your outcome to become. What is it you're looking for? I mean, really. And if it's like, well, I just want to be able to pay off my bills because I'm so tired of not having the money to pay my bills. It's like, okay, so is there another way that you can rework your bills, talking to the company, the credit card company, or talking to the utility company, saying, okay, I need to go on a payment plan. And then, so let's say that the bills are now sort of at a point where they're manageable. It's like, well, okay, you can do that without money. And does it guarantee you're going to be able to get that outcome? No, but it's a start. It's a try. And, and it's always the things that we don't think about that, that it could be a really good solution. But when we get so locked in to the problem and thinking that we are like a million miles away from what we want. But there's more than one path to get to what we want. There's the stuff that's the easiest, like, suddenly winning the lottery. That would be a good thing for a lot of folks. And at the same time, when you think about what it is that you want, it's like, is there another way to get that? And, somebody had come up to me who wanted a particular guy. I mean, that guy, that was the guy. But that guy was not, was like, oh, you're just like a sister to me type of thing. But she was all wrapped up. And I said, okay. I said, why do you want him? Oh, well, he's this and he's that and he's this and he's that. And I said, okay. So if you walked out of here and met another guy who had all of those exact qualities, would you want to go out with him? And she thought about it and she said, well, yeah. I said, okay, so it's not this particular person, it's just the story you attach to them. And it's a story that more than one guy could hold. So then she started actually broadening out, realizing that this person, because she was trying so hard to figure out a way to get this one person to like her in that way. And it turned out that there were other guys who liked her in that way that she wasn't noticing because she was so, locked on this one person. Once she let that go, it was like, oh my God, this other guy, who I know, and he came up and he talked to me, and have mercy, Daddy. Ah! The scream. What is that? Botani 25. Panic. No panicking. No panicking. It is not a time to panic. UEFA means the United European Football Association. Good to know. I'm glad you clarified that. I figured it was some sort of a football thing, but I wasn't quite sure. I was thinking it's like, well, maybe it's like FIFA? I don't know. So, being able to let yourself first acknowledge that all is not well in the kingdom, that there are things that are upsetting you. And sometimes just doing that, just acknowledging that, being real in our feeling, taking full ownership of it, sometimes that can actually set into motion the ability to solve the problem, because we're not denying it, we're not trying to suppress it anymore. And when we let stuff out by choice, it's not like, we blow up and create consequences that, maybe we shouldn't create. Things that maybe we'll regret later. Because that comes from being reactive. And Fire Nutter, that is very much like the whole Bruce Banner versus the Hulk thing. Because, it's... which I always found interesting, that out of all the emotions that could trigger it, it was anger. Him being scared didn't trigger it. And fear creates an adrenal reaction. Can you imagine if Bruce Banner turned into the Hulk when he was in love, or very happy, or feeling hopeful, or feeling sad? Sad Hulk. Hulk sad. But anger was the go-to emotion. And I always thought it weird that it's like that became the immediate one. Now, anger often is mixed with fear, because it is a fear of what will happen if we do not act. But, which I would think it's like, well, it would make more sense, fear, because fear creates a greater adrenal reaction than anger, actually. Because fear will take you into fight, flight, or freeze. Anger can too, but to actually a lesser degree. Holy crap. Glasgow Rangers are in the Europa League. Let's go! Well, go for the Glasgow Rangers. Nice. So, think about something that you want. Just think about something right off the top of your head that you would really want to have in your life. Then I want you to break that down and really define it. It's like, okay, I want to win a lottery, or I want to be rich, or I want to be rich and famous. That's very vague. Why do you want it? Why is it important? What do you think being rich and famous would give you? Well, Hulksad reminds me of the Hulksad scene in the show Big Bang Theory. Yes, Hulksad. Yes, Bazinga Boy. But, what is it that you would like? Think of the first thing you can think of that would give it to you. And in most cases, it's money. Or maybe it's you want a stream with 1,000 people in it. and 1,000 subscribers. Now that'll make you rich. And being able to figure out, okay, I mean, I would like to be a partner. I would like to have a stream that can financially support me. I mean, that's cool. Others have done it. And if I ask myself, it's like, okay, I want a stream that will financially support me. And then I ask myself, why? And it's like, well, because I love doing it. And that would give me independence. And I could do things that, now are cost prohibitive. And I could get stuff that's now is cost prohibitive. So the idea of figuring out what it is that I really want regarding a stream, and that was a part of the reason why I decided that I would start checking out Kick. Because if my goal is to be able to stream and to have a sufficient income source from that will allow me to, have that as my full-time job, well, then I had to look at, okay, how is that going with what I've got going on right now? And I think to myself, it's like, well, it's okay, but it's certainly not, I'm not making that much from it. And it's like, okay, so what else could I do? Well, I could go with, more than one platform. And so being able to figure out how to get there from here, that's the part that needs to happen mostly left brain. And the only way that the left brain is going to be able to kick in and be able to do that is if we release the pressure of the emotional piece, the right brain piece for it. Censored crap, and Doc said it. Doesn't that mean she should do a bean? Nope. Crap is not a bean boozemable offense. That is no. It is not the S word. So crap is not bean boozenable. Bean boozenable. Cool. So, it is about, we could either sit with what it is that we don't have and focus on that, or we focus on how much we can do with whatever we have. What are the opportunities that are available? And, to really think about that, to explore it. You've got, okay, I've got the short-term needs and my long-term needs, and being able to divide it into that. What is a short-term need? And then what is it that you ultimately want to set into motion for a longer thing? And, it is through the process of asking ourselves these questions that we end up finding our answers. And I have always said, you have your answers inside of you. You just need the right questions to reach it. But the right questions are not going to be able to become clear if we don't ask, if we don't create questions, if we don't think about, the layers of what it is that we're looking for, the layers of what we want. Maybe there's a particular job you want at a particular company. It's like, okay, well, if you can't get it at that company, can you get it at another company? So it really does create an opportunity for us to be able to move forward. If you really want to, let's say, you want to be a professional streamer. Okay, that's a cool thing. Lots of people have done it. Then you can take a look at what they're doing and go, okay, are they being consistent? More than likely they are. Are they streaming a boatload, like 8 to 10 hours a day? Probably. So then you figure out how close you can get what you're able to do to that. And I'll admit to Mr. Guilty Thoughts, where I was hoping for another, but if she did otherwise, then fair game. Yep, we have to be fair. I am a boomer of my word, and The thing is, if it's not a swore, which that is not a swore, that is said on television. I mean, granted, other things are said on television, but network television, not cable. So it is a thing. I get caught enough. So being able to focus on that, to focus on whatever it is that you want, and then shift your focus to what needs to happen, what needs to fall into place in order to achieve it. So being able to say, it's like, oh, well, yeah, I'm going to be I want to be a big streamer, but I can't. And then people start thinking about all the reasons why they can't, just because they haven't. Like, okay, well, you haven't, but does that technically mean you can't? No, because everything from this moment forward is open to possibility. And it's what we do with each of those moments and how we identify each one of those possibilities that we'd like. I mean, if all you're going to do is wish on a star and nothing else, then the things you want will stay as far away from you as the very stars you're wishing on. So what are you willing to do? That's a question we each have to ask ourselves. What are we willing to do to get to that point where we can make those dreams happen, where we can build on something? And then the other thing is being able to focus on time, because anything worthwhile takes time. And I've known a lot of folks who come into streaming, or they first make affiliate and they get so excited and oh my gosh, I'm affiliate now, and it's like, well, that's good, that's great. And then a month later, they're totally, oh, I think I'm going to quit streaming. It's like, why? Well, because, I'm not getting as many viewers, and I'm still not getting a lot of subs, and I'm still not doing this and all that. And it's like, well, okay, so what do you think needs to change? What could be done differently? Like, well, I'm streaming the games that all the big streamers are streaming. It's like, well, yeah, but they've got that covered. What can you do that's different? What can you do that brings your uniqueness into it? And it's a very difficult thing. It's constantly a learning curve, and figuring out, it's like, okay, at this time of day is better than this time of day. So it does. It takes a lot. And whatever it is, whether it's streaming, whether it's getting that perfect job, whether it's trying to figure out how to live in that place that you've always dreamed of living, it's all about placing your focus on the possibilities, placing your focus on what you need to reach those possibilities. What are the resources you have, and what are the resources you don't? To really be able to go, oh, I want to be able to travel. Okay, not specific enough. You need to make that specific. Make your goals specific. Focus on that. Narrow the focus on that. What specifically do you want to achieve? And what are you willing to do it? I mean, and that's probably one of the biggest questions. What are you willing to do to make that happen? And sometimes that can be a very hard thing to answer, because it's work. Maybe it means sacrifice. Maybe it means, okay, I can't get the games I want because I'm saving up to get the computer that I want. And we do have to make accommodations. We do have to figure stuff out. We do have to go, okay, I can't do it this way. But that doesn't mean I can't do it. It just means I can't do it that way. And being able to give yourself the grace to go, you know what? I gave it my best shot in that way. I can try it in a different way. I can try doing something different. And if you can't think of anything, talk to people. Because a lot of people have a lot of different types of dreams, and some of them are fairly similar. So if you know, have somebody in your life who has a dream, who's working on it, or maybe even seems to be struggling a little bit with it, because there isn't a great dream that didn't involve struggling and doubt and frustration and all of those things. So talk to people. Find out other perspectives. Let somebody else's left brain get involved in it. You know, it's like if your left brain is feeling stalled, why not incorporate somebody else's left brain and right brain? Maybe they've got the perfect outside the box solution. Or maybe it's just a matter of accepting that, you know what, I need to reevaluate what it is that I want and what it is I'm willing to do for it. And, you know, I mean, that's where the rubber hits the road, is being able to say, okay, this is what I want and this is what I'm willing to do for it, and then I start from there. But you can do this. You've done it so many times before. You've been doing it your whole life. You've always been adapting and figuring it out. And you've overcome 100% of everything you've ever faced. So why not make that your focus? Why not bring in just like immediately, well, I have faced stuff that was harder than this. I can do this. I have a lot of tools and a lot of experience with overcoming stuff. And yeah, maybe it means that you have to talk to somebody else. And the scary part of that is letting someone else know that you need help. And that can be a really hard thing. And it's very worthwhile, because if you really want to accomplish something big, then you're gonna need somebody else involved in it. It's just a thing. I mean, could you do everything by yourself? I mean, I suppose it'll probably take longer and it'll probably be a lot more agitating. Many hands make light work. And if you've got somebody who has experience, who maybe has more resources than you do, and you can go, well, I can figure this out. I can do this. Why not? Why not let others in? Why not make it something that's exciting, that's fun? Why not, view that challenge as that part of the montage that, you have to work through, and then you get to the end of the montage in the movie and ta-da, you've got the thing. It can be hard. I know that, and I get it. And it is those times when it would be very easy to fall into despair. I mean, give yourself a little bit of time to acknowledge how upset you are, to acknowledge how unfair it feels, to acknowledge that it's not right, to acknowledge that it shouldn't be this hard. It should be easier, and that, you're a good person and you should not have that kind of aggravation. You can acknowledge all of that. Be real in it. And then when you get it out of your system, what's left is, all right, we got to figure out how to make this happen. And once we lower that emotional intensity, that's when we can get more creative, because the right brain has something else to do other than create stories about how miserable everything is. You can put the right brain to really good use, to allow its creativity to create a solution, as opposed to really hard stories. It's not easy, and it is a work in progress, even for the doc. And it's worth it, because your dreams are worth it, your goals are worth it, your view of life is worth it. What you want is worth it. And I don't care what that thing is. Being able to say, I really want this to happen. Does that guarantee that it'll always happen? No. But if you put everything you can into it and it doesn't work out, you'll at least know it's like, well, I gave it my absolute best shot. And maybe now's just not the time. Maybe another time is the time. But if you make your focus everything wrong and everything challenging and that you can't get past it, that's kind of right where you're going to stay. So give your dreams their fair chance. Give them some life. Shed a little light on them. Let those seeds have a chance to sprout in fertile soil. But, if you throw a seed down on concrete and then stare at it and is like, well, that's never going to grow. Well, probably not. And whether you do it or not, by giving it your best, by doing whatever it is, by letting other people know, you come out of it with all these new skills, all these new talents, all these new tools, because really it's the process that gives us the greatest gifts. I mean, yeah, we have fun getting what we want, but the true gift of what you gained came through the struggle. It came through having to figure it out. That is what makes you more. And you have been through enough in your life that you've got a whole load of wisdom. You've got a whole load of strength. Count on that. Make that your focus. And just don't give up. If you decide that after a while that maybe a particular path isn't really the right one for you after you've worked at it for a bit, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying, okay, this particular thing, it's not going to work out the way I had hoped. But again, look at the big picture. What is the big thing that you want to achieve? And that's when you can find another way to do it. So make sure that you're giving yourself that time. And maybe it isn't happening right away. And maybe it is going to take, kind of having to do something that you don't want to do in order to achieve the bigger goal. Don't rule it out. Sit down and have a serious talk with yourself about the reality of it. And the reality isn't just about, well, this is never going to happen. It's hard. Well, yeah, the best things in life are. So make sure that, if you're telling yourself a story, you're giving equal time to what could be, the good things that could be out of it. As give that as much time as the reality of what really needs doing. And definitely talk to people about it. Talk to friends, talk to counselors, talk to therapists, talk to doctors, talk to spiritual leaders, whoever it is you can talk to, talk. And in fact, the more people that you talk to, the more perspectives you get. And the more opportunity that somebody's going to say, hey, I've got something that will really help you. All right, my dears, on that note, we're going to call it a day, a night, whatever it is for you. Tomorrow I will be streaming on Kick, and I think I'm going to start at noon. I don't know. Hold on. Let me see what I said. I did say a thing. When did I say I was going to do that? Starting... at noon. Yes, I will be starting at noon. Good to see you again, Doc. Oh, I was just over on Kick looking for you. Oh, Snoring Bush. Okay, so if you're looking for me, hold on. Let me... Boom. And there you go. Okay, so if you want to find me on Kick, that's where you can find me on Kick. I will be streaming there at noon tomorrow, noon Eastern time. Dabber Gems! We got our Dabber Gems, and Meme God was taken. Hi! And Snoring Bush, always wonderful to say hi. Anyway, so we are going to call it a night. You came in right at the end of the stream, but we will be streaming tomorrow on Kick. If you have a Kick account, go over and check it out. Ooh, burps. And if not, Kick is a very easy thing to sign up for, and looking forward to seeing as many of you over there. We're gonna see how that goes. You know, maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't. But you miss 100% of the swings you don't take. And if you keep your eye on the ball but never swing, you're gonna get a ball in the eye. So anyway, everybody take care, and if you need to reach me, you can do so through Discord, through Twitter, and through Twitch Whispers. I will still be streaming here Monday through Friday, so I'm not leaving Twitch. Please understand that I am not leaving Twitch at all. We're just going to be adding in some elements for Kick. Anyway, everybody take care. Please remember that your life does in fact follow where you focus. So make sure you're focusing on things that move you forward, not that hold you back. Please remember that you get to decide what is important for you to focus on. Don't let other people tell you what to focus on, because, you know, they do them, you do you. And please remember that you are the only you in all the universe. You're the only you that's ever been, and the only you that will ever be. And what that does is it makes you special, it makes you sacred, and most of all, it makes you necessary. Because as the only you in all of the universe wouldn't be the same or complete without you. So everybody have an amazing morning, afternoon, evening, or night. Take care. We will be back on Twitch on Monday. We'll be over on Kick tomorrow, and we'll just see how things go. But you guys take care, and as always, I wish you balance and I wish you blessings from my heart to yours. So have a good day, learn something new. I'm proud of you, and I love you. Alrighty, the love train pulling out of the station. We will be back on Monday here on Twitch. So have a wonderful, amazing weekend. Bye-bye. Woo! Woo!